Please help me welcome to the stage Peter Jan Grech from Brandwagon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. It was approximately 2:45 yesterday in the afternoon. I was just seated, locked and loaded in my Emirates flight on my way here. I was really excited to be here. Obviously excited to meet you guys, excited to meet some of my good friends. When all the security announcements come on, we've all heard them before now. Make sure your seatbelt is fastened, tray in its position, and the oxygen mask warning comes on. Put on your oxygen mask first. How many times have we heard that in a security announcement? Hopefully none of you have actually heard that properly, and nobody will endure it in the foreseeable future. But really and truly, it's a very simple lifesaver, no? But do we ever apply this in our own lives? Do we practice what we preach? I've been working in the creative industry for the past 25 years. You can start to see the gray hairs. I wouldn't say I'm the most creative amongst you. For sure, there's so many amazing more people. But one thing that really, really frustrates me over all these years is that most of us, we never really prioritize our own brand, no? We do all this amazing work for our clients. We spend all these working hours dedicated to making some of the most amazing work of our lives, and yet, do we practice what we preach? Do we walk the talk? In fact, most of us struggle to actually build our own brand visibility. And, do we ever beam our own worth in the world? Now, when I approach this conversation with many of the people I meet, the excuse is even worse. I'll let my work do the talking. Yeah, sure. Well, 25 years ago, it might have been true. But today, if you're invisible, you're not in the room with the best briefs, no? You're not winning the great work. And the truth is, you attract what you project. You get what you give. And if you're quiet for too long, yeah, sorry guys, you're probably going to be forgotten forever. Now, it's true, we've just had a great conversation here. AI might do the job that you do today, but AI is never going to replace the real you. AI is never going to have all the history, the moments, the great talks, the shit jokes that you can communicate only. And today, it's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's actually who knows you. Yeah. And more importantly, who knows what you know. You see, if the right people don't see your expertise, there's little chance they're going to be taking your advice. So all you marketing managers, all you marketing people in the room, unless people trust you, unless people are really confident that you know what you're saying, it's going to be very, very hard. And if the right people don't know your worth, for all of you designer guys, agency guys, yeah, they're probably not going to pay you what you deserve either. You see, visibility built on authenticity is the currency of opportunity. Personal branding is not a vanity project. We wouldn't say that to our clients, would we? It is an asset. And it's probably the most important asset, the one that needs most investment. And the truth is, no matter how good your brand is, if the people in your team don't play by the rules, everyone feels it. You can ask Tesla. Remember the moment when Elon Musk had that bright idea to get into politics? It was like somebody took a chainsaw to their sales data and to their stock price. Nothing really changed with Tesla, no? The machines were as amazing or as crap as you think they are. The wheels hit the ground, the apps worked really well, the logo didn't change. Nothing changed in the actual car. But the perception of the brand, the perception of the person running the brand, that changed everything. Look at the share price. So here's my story. I dropped out of university when I was 19. Mum was not proud. I decided to find a job in the magazine industry, publishing, for those of you guys who remember what publishing is actually about. At the time at university, rather than learning about the internet, which was just blowing up, we were still learning about radio and the fax machine. Extremely boring for someone like me. Eventually, I'd probably be diagnosed with ADHD, but it wasn't invented then, so I couldn't pick that option. After a while, I decided to create this new magazine. I sold it to an advertising agency. They offered me a job. I thought my mum would be proud. I thought I was getting into Mad Men. I was not. I was actually probably the most insignificant employee that they had at that point in time, but so insignificant that I was taking notes for most of the important meetings. And because I had a motorbike, they would send me to pick up stuff and get signatures and stuff. Email was barely invented at the time. 5 years down the line, I really enjoyed working and got into creative strategy. It was fantastic. I was offered a job in a winery, which was a fantastic idea, especially when you're still young and you can go to all the great parties and drink all the free wine. I loved my job so much, and I actually got promoted to head of marketing of the group, which included beers, waters, juices, and a lot of amazing stuff. But I did miss the agency world. I missed the creative world. And so I decided, like most of us do sometimes, to say, hey, I'm going solo. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to be a brand consultant. And I decided I'm going to call the agency Brandwagon. But the URL with vowels was taken, so I dropped the vowels, I found the .com, and that's the history of how I came up with Brandwagon without vowels. The truth is, I spent most of the first years of my life in running the business making more money singing on stage and singing at weddings and bars than actually getting consultancy gigs. And I'm sure most of you know it. You try and say, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to get hired by all the best companies, but no, more money singing in bars. Today, the story's different. Clicker's working, all right, rock and roll. 19 years later, I'm super proud of the agency we've built. Oops, sneak preview there. Super proud of the agency we've built. We've got an office in Malta, we've got a small office in London, and we've got a really amazing team in Ukraine, which are doing a phenomenal job. I'm so proud of them. We work for telcos, insurance companies, beer brands. We've also worked with an Olympian over here, super great guy. And as the CEO of this company, I get very often invited to sit down with journalists, I get invited to speak at events, just like I'm doing now. But the reality of the story, if this thing switches soon, is this is my happiest moment. My wife will go as far as telling you I'm allergic to people, because my happiest moment is when I've got a helmet on, nobody can recognize me, and I'm just driving around. Whether I'm swimming or I'm cycling on my own, I feel pretty good. But a couple of years ago, well, a year and a half ago actually, two of my co-partners, who I really hate deep down, I love them, but I do hate them, decided it would be my monkey dance phase. They said, Pete, you got to get out there, you got to do more speeches, you got to start a podcast. Great idea, damn it, put me out there on the stage. But the more I started to do this, the more opportunities I got. And it's actually worked. Because the podcast was a great success, I had some amazing guests. One of them is actually sitting right in front of me today. I got invited to sit at more panels. I got invited to do even more of these gigs. And I'm now flying around the world to do more of this. You see, visibility builds credibility. Unless I put myself out there, this would have never really got me into the places I am today. And it's not about being an influencer. It's actually about, if you know Daniel Priestley, it's about becoming a key person of influence. Somebody who can actually say stuff that people believe in and have an impact on the people he's speaking to. And that's one of the most important parts of our lives now. I know that not everyone wants to be a content creator. I'm a shit person at doing content creation. You can check out my Instagram. I'm sorry about that. But everyone wants to live their best lives. And for me, living my best lives has two parts, okay? So first, it's to live in sync with my purpose, bless you. And I define purpose as the pursuit of what makes you feel alive. We've all been in those dead-end jobs or those dead-end relationships when we feel like a part of us is dying inside. It feels horrible. But then again, when you're in a room, when you're doing your best stuff, your best work, you get the clarity. You feel really good. You say, that's why I'm here today. And to me, finding clarity for myself and for others in the boardroom, but also on my motorbike, is what really makes me feel alive. And the second is about being surrounded by the right people. People who love you, people who care for you, people who challenge you, and people who support you. And people who can open doors for you. But also people who can be really true, and challenge you and brutally honest and say, hey, Pete, not looking good today. You could have done that better. And that's what's really important. And when your work is aligned with your purpose, it shows. Your clients feel it, your teams feel it, the people who love you, the people who care for you, the people who see you know that you're feeling most alive. And personal branding really allows you to live your best life because it attracts the right people to your world. And personal branding is not about self-promotion. Done right, it's about being known for the value you bring, the problems you solve, and definitely the trust that you build. And that's so important. And when I raised my own profile, yes, it got me more speaking gigs, and I'm very happy about those because I get to fly to amazing places like Limassol and see these amazing people in front of me. But it also gave me the chance to do what I do best for people I care about. I get to support charities. I get to work with Olympians. I get to mentor entrepreneurs and startup founders. I get to teach university students. That's the impact that visibility can have. And the big bonus, as the partners I do hate were right, it brought a lot of value to the agency. When people trust you, they're more likely to trust your business. And we all know we're living in a world that's become extremely impersonal. Everybody's friends on LinkedIn, and then you meet them right in front of you, and most of them are too shy to say hi. It's true, though. Digital transactions, chatbots. It's just changing the way we are now. But digital is never going to replace human completely. And the more automated the world becomes, the more people want to know the people, the stories behind the businesses, the people behind the brand. People like these guys. Don't know if anybody can recognize them. These are James Griffith and Lucy Hutchinson. They're two of the founders of a really cool company called Moose. You're probably familiar with this brand. If you see them on social media, their ads are absolutely phenomenal. They spend most of the time as the main stars of their actual campaigns.
Do you want to know why we created this backpack?
Throwing phones up into the sky. The new latest iPhone 17.
iPhone 17 in a mouse case! Whoa, whoa. How's the phone? Screen. Absolutely fine. Let's check the back. The back is absolutely fine as always. Come on!
They're the stars of the main brand. And because they're so involved in the stuff that they do, people watch them more and more and more. Yes, of course, everybody wants to see whether the iPhone's going to break or not. Sorry, it didn't break. You see, personal branding is not just for leaders. It's also for the people in your team. I've seen that with my own team. And a lot of people ask me, but Pete, why are you putting up the rest of your team up on a pedestal? Why are you putting them up in so many of your presentations? Won't the recruiters come for them? Well, not if they're unhappy, they're not going to leave. You see, unhappy people don't leave just because the good recruiters call. They leave because they feel invisible. They leave if they're feeling undervalued. And they leave if they're feeling stifled. But when you give your people a platform to grow, they grow. And they grow the business too. So why isn't everyone doing this? Why aren't we all putting so much more investment in our own personal brands? We spend so much time and so much energy doing our best work for some amazing people. But there's even better work out there. We just need to go out and get it. Most of the reasons are fear and confusion. Most people I meet, CEOs of big organizations, they're scared. I was scared. I thought that I was going to be extremely cringe. And if you ask my kids, I'm probably still cringe. Most people are fear being judged. Being judged most of the time by people they don't actually like. Some people are fear success. They fear that they're going to be, reached out to and go up and speak. And yes, I must say, I still get the jitters every time I go up here. But knowing the fact that I can help people grow their own brand, that really helps me. Most people are confused about where to start. They don't know what they need to do. They don't know how to do it. They don't even know why they need to do it. And so when I got into building my own personal brand, I said, it's time to stop that. I need to figure out a way how to build my own personal brand. And just in line with the theme of today, I reached out to the Prince of Darkness. There you go. It's all rock and roll. Okay, allow me to explain that. Okay, so RockNRole is the personal branding framework that we teach to some of our clients. And it's fairly simple. You just need to focus on those 3 words. So rock stands for who you are, the things that will never change, just like a rock. It might be molded and might, adapt slightly over time, but the fundamentals never change. Your N stands for your energy, the energy you bring into the room. My energy here, hopefully, is not as scary as Ozzy Osbourne's energy. And the second is your role with an E. The way you show up in the world, the problems you solve. So I'm going to be sharing these details simply with you just so you can better understand. So the rock is divided into 3 parts. In fact, everything makes up the 9P platform. So your rock is your purpose, okay? What's the pursuit of what makes you feel alive? How do you show up and why do you show up? Your principles are the values you live by. They're your rules, the things you will never change. And your personality has been coming around and being molded from the very, very beginning of your life. Your stories, your greatest moments, they've shaped you who you are. And that's never going to change. Your energy, on the other hand, you might need to adapt to the people that you're speaking to. And you need to be very, very clear who are the people that matter to you. What is the presence that you want to have? How do you want to show up? What are the platforms that you want to be most focused on? And that's really, really mission critical. And finally, role. And the most important part of your role is your problem. What is the problem in the world that you want to be associated with fixing? I want to be the guy that people know that if they have a brand challenge, they want to call me. Whether it's for their personal brand, whether it's for their business brand, I want people to speak to Pete because Pete is the brand guy. On a professional level, I'm a strategist, I'm a CEO, I'm a founder and an investor. And that's how I show up into the world. But what is it about my personal life that makes me who I am? So I'm a husband of 1 and a father of 3. The stuff I do on the weekends, the stuff I do during the day, the fact that I used to sing for my supper, that's who I am as a person. How much of that am I willing to share with the world? And that pretty much makes up who I am. And that's the truth. And it gives me that clarity. And if you know what you want to stand for, then you can really stand out. And really and truly, it's not rocket science. It's just rock and roll. And it ties up with fundamentally what I want to achieve and what I believe. Because I truly believe that better people make better brands. And better brands make a better world. Thank you very much. So, if you scan a QR code there, you can get to a free platform where you can download the 9P Discovery and you can enjoy it and use it for yourselves. And I really do want to hope to see so many of you guys showing up there into the world and getting your best work. Thank you very much.